The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Foundation of Heart Grant is brought to you by Alive, Divinia Spices, Commonwealth Bank, J.S. Johnson, Mobile Garage Technologies, Platinum Pastries, Popeyes, and Ross Electric Motors.
The aftermath of every social revolution brings about change. Cultural norms and landmarks shift as our minds and hearts expand beyond the familiar. To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose in the land of the living. This is our time to renew, revive, and restore the hope lost to the busyness of life. This is our time to dig again and rebuild from the storms of our past on a solid footing that holds. Welcome to The Foundation.
The Foundation. Foundation. Foundation.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is 96.9 FM Radio. Howard Grant in your company with The Foundation on this absolutely gorgeous Friday. I hope you guys are out there having a beautiful time, enjoying yourselves. Unless you are there protesting, and we're going to have that conversation later. But what I definitely wanted to do at the top of the thing, at the top of the show, and being able to give time and sort of acquiescing and really being able to genuflect and identify something that has been here for a very long time in our country. It's a casual Friday. You know the lines are going to be open today, but we have a few persons in that still has a great desire to get some information in as it relates to what's going to be happening in this year of Jubilee. You know where we are. No matter the turmoil that we see on the outskirts, no matter what we see happening, we know that this is a year of Jubilee. Now, there is an expectation that everything falls in line, and I want to hear more about what we can expect to be able to see as it relates to celebration this year. I'm in the studio with none other than Elma Garraway. Miss Elma Garraway, you know her. She's the Assistant Chief Commissioner. She's a trainer, and she's been doing a great deal for a very long time, especially with the Girls Guides. I want to hear a little bit more about it. Miss Garraway, thank you so much for joining us today. Talk to me about it.
Yes, good morning, and thank you so much for having me at short notice.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I am so delighted to be with you. This is my first time in the studio with you, but I follow the show a whole lot.
Thank you so much.
Your laughter brings mirth to a person's
Oh,
life.
my God. Thank you so much.
And so I'm glad we have this opportunity. The Girl Guides, as persons know, we have Girl Guide Week every year around our Thinking Day, but this year is very special. This is the year of our country's Golden Jubilee. And so we are launching our Girl Guide Week with a launch of our celebration of independence for the Bahamas. And we begin tomorrow afternoon down at Xavier's Lower School grounds, pavilion, and the auditorium, where we are highlighting our women, the women on whose shoulders we in guiding stand, and who were the first, our members who were the first females in many of the categories of the leading professions here in the Bahamas. So we're having an exhibition, a pictorial exhibition of all those women, and many of those are going to be present, and that's going to begin at 4 o'clock. Our leaders under our Chief Commissioner, our district, our Chief Commissioner Leisure Burrows, our Eastern District Commissioner Gillian Wilson, all of our commissioners working hard, Julia Burnside, all of us. We've been working hard, and so the exhibition begins at 4. Then we move into the auditorium where we are going to have a wonderful rally, including a skit that's being managed by none other than Nikki Fountain, one of our former chief commissioners, showing our contribution. So our sunflowers, brownies, guides, rangers, we not only sing and have fun, but we learn and enjoy and appreciate what our organization and our women have done for the growth and development of the Bahamas. And then, of course, no launch is there without fireworks, and the scouts are doing that for us. And we are going to have a wonderful reception afterwards. And so the leaders are working very hard on it. I have been given a secret that 90th Nassau, which is from Prayer and Praise Assembly, that they're going to be doing conch fritters on premises. And so we are inviting all of our members and persons who have supported us over the years, and we're so grateful for the support, to come on down at 4 tomorrow. And so we launch our own special version of a celebration of the 50th anniversary of independence in the Bahamas. And then, of course, on Sunday, we have our regular church service. That's going to be at Christ Church Cathedral, and we begin at 3 o'clock. I don't have the details whether we will still parade from our own headquarters to the cathedral, but that will be forthcoming. I know the dean and his assistant curate will give us a great beginning for our guide week. Then our littlest ones, the sunflowers, we say there's sunflower frolic. So it is an afternoon of fun down at our campsite. It's a beautiful place on Marshall Road. And I think the parents have as much fun as the little ones have.
Yeah, absolutely.
Then we have brownie revels, and that's large numbers of brownies we have. And we're so grateful to the leaders and the parents who help assist us to ensure the girls have their uniforms, etc. And they're going to be at the campsite as well on Tuesday. Then on Wednesday is World Thinking Day, the 22nd of February. And the Bahamas knows that's when we celebrate the joint birthdays of the founders of guiding and scouting. And we have a wonderful theme this year that we have converted to fit in with ours all around the world. The 10 million girls are celebrating under a theme, One World, and we have added into it, Our Bahamas, One Peaceful Earth. So, it looks at conservation, climate change, then, of course, the importance of peace, of decision-making skills, of appreciating nature. And so that's the theme. And we know Wednesday, of course, is Ash Wednesday. So our usual very exciting, fun, and frolic activity will be more sedate and subdued, in keeping with the beginning of preparation for Lent.
As of Wednesday.
Yeah. So that's Wednesday at 6 down at Stapleton School grounds. And parents who are bringing their children, we ask them to also bring a searchlight, because we got some activities there. Then on Friday, we are having a ranger scavenger hunt, which begins at our guide headquarters on West Bay Street. And once again, we go to our wonderful Camp Discovery for the closure of that ranger scavenger hunt. And so we want to invite the public.
It's a full week.
Course. Oh, yeah, it's a week every year. And you may hear our littlest ones to the oldest ones on morning devotions.
Really?
On Radio Bahamas.
Yes.
At 6 o'clock.
Oh, this is
and
exciting
so
stuff.
You're going to hear them. They developed a theme, of course, around morals and standards and the religious aspect of what we do. So we look forward to welcoming everyone, especially our girls, and might I say girls in Grand Bahama, in Abaco, all across Eleuthera, in Exuma, a ranger group and guide group in San Salvador, a wonderful brownie group down, brownies and rangers in Long Island, and of course, where we've never had guides before, on Crooked Island. And do you know what, Howard? One of the girls who was our ranger guide represented the Bahamas at COP29.
Really?
In Egypt.
Really?
One of our girls from the work we
So
do
you're really
in our
building leaders and preparing them
that is
to move
a-
out to the world.
That is a part of our mission. Our mission is that the Bahamas Girl Guides Association provide opportunities for the development of our girls in self-esteem, in leadership skills, in thinking for themselves, problem solving, and to become citizens of contributing citizens.
That's wonderful.
Of the Bahamas and regionally, nationally, regionally, and globally.
That's wonderful.
And that's what we're about.
How can, for all those persons who are listening in here who want to have, because I have a 7-month-old right now, right? And I want her to go somewhere. No, she's not ready yet. But
Yeah, quite
I'll bring her.
yet.
I'll
But of
bring her,
course.
right?
But of course.
What about those persons who are sitting down and wanted their children to, their daughters more specifically, to kind of get involved in something? How can they do that? How can they sign up? Where do you want to go? Send them in terms of, do you have a telephone number or
Sure,
a Facebook page or something?
Oh, yes, we have all of it. We just don't have Twitter and Instagram
Okay,
yet.
okay.
But we have everything else, yes. Our telephone number, Girl Guide Headquarters, it's 322-4342. We're there if the office isn't open at 10, our telephone has message taking. Then most of our church groups, our sponsoring bodies, the Anglican churches have, the Anglican schools have, the Catholic Church, the Catholic schools, our public schools all across the Bahamas have lots and lots of brownie groups. Then call us. And if they're not at a group or they're not going to a school where there are groups already, we will find a group in which to send them.
This is
But we
exciting.
ask parents, because in America, they said 90% of the girls in America have been Girl Scouts. We are nowhere near. We are nowhere near. And they're successful because a lot of parents form groups because we have all the material they need. We are saying to parents, most of our groups are at churches and at schools. They're the main sponsoring bodies. But we're saying to parents, if you want to form a group at your church, if you want to form a group at your community hall, you want to form a group at your urban renewal center, we have trainers to train you. We have the materials to give you. And there is another show I'm coming on to talk about the support we are trying to get.
you gotta come back here.
To provide uniforms.
I wanted you to come-
Because there are still barriers to girls participating and being a part of this wonderful global movement. And I tell you what, when the public helps us to finish our new headquarters on West Bay Street, the top of that second floor is a great big open auditorium, like a dome, that can sleep 18 girls and 5 leaders. And we want all of our children from the Family Islands, from here in New Providence, to enjoy what we call the sisterhood of guiding. And it's nothing like a sleepover for girls for a weekend. And of course, downstairs is where we have a great big room. We're not in it yet. We need more money to finish it. A girls' empowerment center.
Yeah.
Where we are going to give those girls those additional skills they need to be successful, whatever it is their little hearts desire.
Ma'am, Miss Garraway, I just want you to come back. I know that we pressed for time, but I
Yes.
want to get more into what the Go Guides Week is. I want to be able to put the information out there for all those persons who want to be able to be a part of this and then moving forward with it. Please give them a call if you want more information. 322-4342. That's 322-4342. Someone can be able to assist you. It's all about Girls Guide Week, and they're launching their celebration of our year of Jubilee. You know that we're going to have our 50th anniversary. It's going to be at Xavier's Lower School. You said tomorrow at 4
Tomorrow
p.m.
at 4.
Tomorrow at 4
Yes,
p.m. It's starting at
yes.
tomorrow at 4 p.m. And they're going to be highlighting women. So this is exciting. All you persons out there, this can be sort of the inception, a step in the right direction to be able to empower your daughters out there who needs to be able, you see leadership in them. send them to Girl Guide so we can mold that, form that, and prepare them to do both locally, regionally, and globally, and be able to move in the right directions. Ms. Garraway, I thank you so very kindly. Now, you got to come back.
Oh, anytime you're ready. And I'll bring some of the young leaders so
Yes.
that we know we're building capacity
Yes.
and we're building transition.
Yes.
We're building capacity, we're building transition, we're keeping it relevant, and we're giving our girls skills, self-esteem, confidence, decision-making skills, and the skills that will ensure their success. We know that girls, the hand that rocks the cradle, rules the world.
Ruled ball.
And so we want our girls to have a voice, use that voice,
Yes.
nurture their families, and build a better Bahamas.
This is what we need more of, a very clear understanding of where it needs to go. And I believe it all starts with those who birthed that kind of life of our community that we've been looking for. Ms. Garraway, I want to thank you once again. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Ms. Garraway sitting with us, Elma Garraway, being able to tell us about Girls Guide Week. It's going to be launched tomorrow, kicked off at 4 p.m. over at Xavier's Lower. They're going to be highlighting women, and they have an entire week, fun-filled week, with a great deal of activities. If you want to know more about that, please give them a call at 322-4342. That's 322-4342. We're going to take this quick commercial break and be right back after this.
Foundation.
We're good for you. Whether your business is in store, on the go, or both, let Fidelity work with you to maximize your customers' payment options with a fixed or mobile terminal so that you never miss a sale. It's safer than cash and more convenient so that you can take your business anywhere. For details, contact a business development officer today at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport, or visit our website at fidelitygroup.com. We're good for you.
Here we go.
J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents are the best. Reliable service, we've been on the scene, protected since 1919. J.S. Johnson Insurance has the test. You'll always cover me. J.S. Johnson Insurance, peace of mind.
At Popeyes, get the chicken sandwich you love, but make it blackened. Marinated in Popeyes blackened seasoning, that is. Our new juicy filet is fried to perfection without the breading, served on a toasted brioche bun. Try it today as a combo or a la carte. Don't forget to choose your level of spice today at any one of our 3 locations.
Love that chicken from Popeyes.
We're good for you. With so much going on in the world today, only accepting cash at your business can be risky. Let Fidelity offer you and your customers safety, convenience, and the flexibility of a fixed or mobile terminal. Take it with you, on the move and on the go, because business should never stop. For more details, speak to one of our business development officers at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport. Visit our website at fidelitygroup.com or visit us at any of our branches. Fidelity, we're good for you.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Foundation. Foundation. The foundation. The foundation. Foundation.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Howard Grant and your company on this laid back Friday. Now, you ain't going to be just a Friday evening, bim, right? 'Cause we trying to get in there to be able to get Miss Garraway to do some stuff. But I need you to understand that today's sort of a laid back day. I know most of you out there who's not shaken and tossed and kind of flopped in prison, you're out here. Let me be decent today, right? For many of you, there's been protesting over the past few days, but for all of those who recognize that this is the weekend, you had a rough week this week, and you want to kind of lay back, if you're one of the persons who sort of enjoy a nice lager, a nice beer, then today's the day for you to have a good conversation about what's going to be happening next month. My very good friend Dario Chiretti, now I can bring his politics in here. Watch me. This me being decent, right? I can bring his politics in here, right? But it's my very good friend. Me and him was on the same ticket one time, but we can talk about it, right? Go on, it's a whole different story, right? And he's in here to talk to me about Bear Fest. He's going to tell us about bears. He's going to tell us about what Bear Fest is going to be doing. And I am really interested, even in the interim, he started to give me some education about bears and whatnot. Dario, it is so good to have you in the studio with me, my brother. You haven't sat with me in this capacity before.
No,
right?
haven't.
You and I spoke on
many occasions. I've called in the show also.
You're a good, decent man, my brother.
Thank you.
And I really do appreciate you coming here. So tell us about Bear Fest and what you guys are going to be doing in the coming weeks and months.
Well, Bear Fest is a food and beverage cultural event, first and foremost. Beer is just a theme for that. So that's one of a few events that we'll pull off this year, leading into March of next year. And so Bear Fest is one of my signature events. The reason why they started to do Bear Fest is that I worked at the brewery. I work for Heineken. I'm a Heineken trained. I think I'm the first qualified brewer in the history of the Bahamas, certified by the Masters Brewers Association of America. I spent 7.5 years at Commonwealth Brewery, and so beer is my life. So I moved from making beer into selling beer as a sales manager with Burns House over the years, and I had 2 stints with Burns House in capacity of selling beers again. I was a key accounts manager. They call it HORCA, hotel, restaurants, and cafes. And so beer is my life. I make beer. You go to my fridge right now, there's 2 or 3 flavors of craft beer. So I launched a craft beer club a few years ago, teach Bahamians how to make beer. And a craft beer is like mama making that pea soup. You know, she might be heavy with salt this week or a little more pepper or too much like tomato paste. For some persons who like to put tomato paste in pea soup. And so that's how a craft beer is. You stick with the norm, the ingredients, you try and measure. But at the end of the day, you're making something that you love. I love beer. I try to drink a glass of beer every day. Beer is rich in vitamins. Beer is rich in protein. You try to take so much protein out of beer because it will coagulate the protein with light or high temperature. And so beer is a good product. Of course, like everything else, with alcohol, you just consume a little at a time. Mm-hmm. And so...
You do so responsibly?
Responsibly, like everything. You know, I love pea soup, one of my favorite foods, so only so much I can eat in a given day. And so I decided that I have to own Bear Fest. My whole life is beer. And so I decided to launch it a few years ago. And it's so far
when you
it's
say
been good.
A few years?
We did it 2 years, and then COVID came. And so
okay, so you started 2019.
19, yes.
I remember. Was it in the parking lot over or the?
No. That's
that was something else.
Yeah, that's something else. Bear Fest at Botanical Gardens.
Oh, Botanical Gardens.
Yeah, we decided to use a garden setting. This year we had
that's a sexy situation.
Yeah, this year we had the fort because the Botanical Gardens might not be ready, and so walking through the fort a few times, you know, my team said, "Boy, this might even work out better." It's well controlled. The space is not that wide, so it'll be very interactive, very intimate for vendors. So we're now in the process of chasing vendors. So we started to promote Bear Fest, a vendor flyer. And so we are welcoming all vendors, food, beverage, artisan.
Tell me when to kick it off.
Yes.
March
18 and 19. That's
March
Saturday
18.
and Sunday. Yes. 2 days.
18 and 19.
And the gates open at...
so let's do this because, you know... all these Christian people out here who, you know, they act like they don't drink a little taste, they have a little taste. We ain't gonna bother with that. But you wanted to emphasize that this is not just a beer fest. It's also a cultural food fest.
It's a food and beverage cultural fest.
And this is where you marry.
Yes,
the
beer
type
is
of
just
lager.
beer is just a theme for this one.
Yeah.
So if I do a Junkanoo Rake and Scrape festival, it's the same. It's a food and beverage cultural event. A Junkanoo or Rake and Scrape is just a theme, and so that's what it is. So what we do is to put fun. Beer is the theme. So vendors have to create ingredients with a beer in it. You can have a comforter with a taste of a rattler
Wow, this is
inside the sauce. We had at the last Beer Fest, we had some grillers who actually use Guinness as the glaze. Guinness is still a beer. It's only a beer with a stout, and the stout is you burn the beer like a coffee, and you create a stout, and then Guinness has their secret ingredients with full of proteins and vitamins also. And so we had artisans. We were a bit late in introducing it because we couldn't get the location we want. We had to wait, and then we finally said we can't wait no more. We have to really, really, really go push. So we get.
So that's why you come in early.
That's why you
'Cause
come in.
I said this is kind of
Yeah.
early.
No. We should have started this long time. We started working in the market from November to look at the logistics and then decide if the botanical garden is not ready, where do we go next? But we've been behind the scene. We supposedly should be getting meetings with all the beer companies in Nassau next week, tentatively. Ministry of Tourism, they came back to me. They'll set up a meeting, of course, waiting for the cultural team also.
But your location is locked in.
Is Fort Charlotte. The gate will open at 12 noon because our aim at all our events is attract that 60 to 70 to 80,000 people in town every day in this country. And so with Beer Fest, we have done well with the tourists. That's why we push culture. That's why we want as much vendors that create. If you create jam, come reach out to us. If you create, one lady reached out to me at the first Beer Fest, said she does conch hot dogs. But unfortunately, she was in Eleuthera at another event. She couldn't come on board. So I'm giving a clarion call to her or anybody else that create a conch hot dog. Come along. We want to have a creative aspect to the festival, not just the same food. And we will actually engage the vendors. We already have vendors signing up. So let them know,
How do I sign up if I want to be a vendor?
you go on Bearfest page, Instagram page, or the Facebook page, Bearfest Bahamas.
Beer Fest Bahamas.
On the Facebook and Instagram, or reach out to me, 424-0632. I answer 24 hours a day.
4240
632.
632. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So if I want to be a vendor, what are your confinements, right? So this is for food and beverages. So this
Food,
is-
beverage, art,
and you are more in
cigars.
cigars too.
But remember now, it's a food and beverage cultural event.
Okay.
Bahamians smoke a lot of cigars. I'm a cigar smoker, so we'll have a cigar lounge.
Really?
So if you want to sit down, relax, and be served wine, I've reached out to Julian Believe. Him and I supposed to talk about it because I gotta feature his product. He's done well with his brand, and they the Bahamians I want to showcase. And there's plenty products in this market. I'm a consultant. You'll be surprised the conversation I have daily with Bahamians who are creating something. I had a potential client want to grow mushrooms. So I had to go look and research mushroom growing, which is simple. And so switcher. You get lemonade drink. You get plenty food trucks, so they're creating different type of food. So we want to welcome every Bahamian because the thrust is the tourists at the beginning of the day, and Bahamians will mosey on down more in the afternoon. And so that 60 to 80,000 coming off the ship or staying overnight, we will have a bear bus that do a shuttle from the hotels just to get them involved also. We want them to spend money.
Have you reached out to?
Yes.
Is this something that you've done before? Have you reached out to Royal Caribbean or any one of the
With system with tourism, and tourism has also allowed me to have a space coming out into the Welcome Center, a big 8x4 banner, Bearfest Bahamas. That went well. I will reach out to Mike Morrow this week coming.
This ain't no small undertaking. This
No
ain't
man, this is this.
come to Arawaki.
No man, this is a big to do. If you look at all the festivals in Nassau, it moved from a concept to reality. It takes months. It takes a lot of brain power. It takes a lot of logistics. And then once you have crossed that hurdle the first time, and then you know what to do and how to plan much earlier and who to get involved and who you exploit. who you have to partner with. I have a partnership with Cara Fusion, State Sound, and Lighting, Jason and his team. And so I've learned to build partnership because one person can't do it. And so I have a team that actually works along with me. And so once I come up with an idea, bear in mind, I was instrumental with the launching Bahamas Carnival. I had the first carnival band that launched, Rhythms. So after Bear Fest is Rhythms. And so Carnival has opened my eye to what we are not doing in this country to take money out of the tourist pocket. So I decided to launch Rhythm Festivals instead of begging for money for Bear Fest and then go back to the table and beg money for Rhythms and then go back and beg money for the Big Truck Show. I decided to create a brand called Rhythm Festival, which will be...
That's heavy what you're saying to me, you know.
Which will be a lifestyle brand, which we'll have a cigar brand, we'll have a rum brand, of course we'll have a beer brand coming up, and then we'll have a vodka brand, and then we'll have a travel entertainment brand to bring people in the country. And so that's me morphing into what I want to do as a brand and ambassador for the country. Because there's a lot of vendors that just waiting for the next concept to come.
I want to talk to you about this because you're here with me for 2 seconds. So I want to talk to you about this. Now, I've always been one of the persons, tourism is my thing. And, we had this sort of a building. My uncle has a shop in 8 Mile Rock, from 8 Mile Rock. And we would see tourists passing every day, 5 and 10 and 15 at a time, going down to West End. But they're only sort of transient. It's only the 8 Mile Rock is just a conduit. They get into West End.
Yes.
They're not stopping in the community, right? And my uncle, at the time in Grand Bahama, he was eager to try to find a way to be able to make more money. And so we were standing on the side of the road. 15 cars passed. I said, every single one of these people go into West End, have money in their pocket, eager to spend it.
Yes.
And I feel like we have been locked in to this idea in this country about the tourism that exists, the model of tourism that exists, and not many persons are tapping into creativity. But Bear Fest, what you're saying to me, is extremely creative.
And beyond that, it gives beer is a big brand worldwide. The biggest beer festival is in Germany, Oktoberfest, one of the biggest events worldwide.
I watched the movie with this.
And so, what we want to do at this beer fest, we're going to do a raffle leading into. I'll come on Guardian one more time before Bear Fest. I'll do a raffle leading into Bear Fest, and then on that day, you will travel with 2 persons will travel with me to either Oktoberfest in Germany or to one of the big beer festivals in the U.S.
Dario, this is heavy. What you doing?
But it's the idea of getting behemoths to create something different from the norm.
Let's shoot straight. I had some guys were here the other day really talking to us about what they were doing over Budweiser and how they're doing some stuff and really taking some people over the Super Bowl. And they started to talk to me about the fact that this is one of the largest consumers in the market regionally. The Bahamas consumes a tremendous amount of beer.
But bear in mind, it's not just it's just not Bahamians. We had 7.2 million people came in 2019. Remember, I worked at Burns House as a key accounts manager. You'll know that, sales manager, which I manage hotel, restaurants, and cafe. And you're looking at let's look at Senior Frog. Giving them a lay prop. They would do 3,500 cases. So a month.
You got to be kidding with me.
It ain't just, it's behemoths. We consume a small amount.
3,500.
Because the population is small. In 1987, I saw stats. That's what kept me looking at the events and festival. That the Bahamas were the 3rd largest alcohol consumer per capita in the world. But that was false narrative because the tourists.
So they put it all on us.
Yeah, they put it all on us. And you wouldn't believe. I had to sell beers to the hotel, and so the competing brand was Sans brand, and so I had to learn to keep drinking Sans beer, and I fell in love with Sans and Bushcrack is my favorite Sans beer, by the way. Mm-hmm. Great beer. Bushcrack is my favorite Sans beer. But me being a Kalik brewer, of course, Kalik is God to me, and Kalik is one of the best beer in the world. It's a great lager beer. I must give Sans have created some good beers. And they created some brands. I love how they ventured out and they get 66 steps. So that's a craft beer. They get the ale by the Cricket Club Ale. And so I love their concept. And then, of course, I can't leave out Pirates Republic. That's the first craft beer company in the history of the Bahamas, downtown on the wharf. And they have some fine selection. They got a great brewer on board. And they create some good. You need to taste they have a stout out now.
Jerry, I told you, I'm not heavy. I was always associated with this kind of affair that, as a big fella, I ain't trying to swell up from the yeast in beer.
No, man, there's no more. Once you filter the beer, it's micro-filtered. So there's no more yeast in beer. And of course, there are 4 ingredients to make beer. Water, malt, hops, and yeast. Anything else, they use corn or grits because it's less expensive than all malt. But there's 4 ingredients in beer. And beer's been around, they found in beer in the pyramid. That's how far back beer's been made. Beer's been around before wine. And so beer's a good product. So there's no yeast in beer after we filter the beer.
All right, so you got to let me taste some good beer, though.
Yeah.
Because, what...
You fall in
the commercial aspect of what it is.
No.
And that's like wine also for me. I don't drink the commercial wine. I go out to look for... Some of it might not have the money for the time, but I enjoy a nice wine.
And we inviting Bahamians who make wine. I went to the food festival and I tasted some nice wine. I make wine also. I actually have sitting on my stove some sea grape that I'm going to make a sea grape wine out of. Really? And then I make wine from sorrel. I have a wine in the fridge that's been sitting now for 9 months. I buy the ingredients. The sorrel wine from Father Belicious. He makes the finest sorrel drink in the Bahamas.
Belicious.
And not alcohol, he makes it, but I take it and make wine from it. Forgive me, Lord. But, that's part of me taking a Bahamian product and taking it to another level. And so we're inviting Bahamians. Whatever you create, reach out to us, Beerfest Bahamas, on Instagram or Facebook page, 424-0632, and we will host your product. And so we have 2 more weeks for vendors. And so get involved. We want to make sure that we don't have everybody selling the same thing.
Well, if you're out there and you're listening, ladies and gentlemen, just to be able to put a plug in there, we've been having conversations about entrepreneurialism and with small business and being able to move from this idea of theory into the practical space. If you're out there and you're listening and you're kind of pricked in your spirit, you're ready to slide some gin in that guava duff or that guava you was making. You make a nice it made a jelly and jam and so forth and so on. You feel as though you have a product that you can make for y'all who went down to the SBDC and sort of develop this product. You've been gone through the business process and whatnot, but now you want to launch it. Here is an opportunity to do that. I want you to do that. Please give Dario a call. The number again, 424-0632, 424-0632. That's March 18th and 19th. 18th and 19th. They're going to be in Beerfest. But he's saying to me that you only got 2 weeks left to be able to sign up.
Yes, 2 weeks, because we wanna make sure we have enough vendors, make sure that we cut it off where we don't have too much people selling the same thing. And so by design, we want to make sure we just have a comfortable amount that we have. But the artisans who have something unique, we will display their product. We'll give them opportunity to be out there with their booth. If they are not, they don't need to get a vendor booth. We will have a booth just for Bahamian products.
I want to do that. And you know what? I think it's time that we talk about it and talk deeper about these things, because when I go to the food festival, when I go to Beer Festival or any festival that we have culturally, I always look for and drift over to the art section. I need to know what these guys are, the craft section. What are you making? Slippers, you're making belts, you're making hair pieces, you're making frames, you're making whatever you're doing, please. It ain't no good and use to you. I told you this before. What good is it to you in the back of your house catching dust?
Plenty.
It don't make no sense.
Plenty dust on plenty good products.
And put the product on the shelf. Let people see exactly what is in your mind and your heart, and let them purchase that. I'm telling you, man. We are major consumers in this market here in the country. So get your product out there and give Dario a call, 424-0632. Go ahead, Dario.
One of the reasons why there's a lot of dust on a lot of ideas is nothing new under the sun. Bahamians believe they have something unique. When I started Party Bus, I was the first Party Bus in Nassau. It wasn't nothing new. I saw Party Bus around the world. But my thing is I'm bored. I'm hyped. I think they didn't diagnose me in school correctly. And so I'm always hyped. I can't sleep. So I have to create something. I'm an artist, a gifted artist. So I have to create something. And so art and events is just another form of me. But I'm living my life.
It's an expression.
But I'm living my life in everything I do. I've traveled to festivals, New Orleans. I go to Trinidad from 1997 most year. I've seen what they have done. They have Ministry of exporting their culture festival. I don't think we have that. And so I want to be a catalyst to get Bahamian's product out there. That's why I started the consultancy. And you'd be surprised the hundreds of hours I give for free. Just picking up the phone, see somebody on Facebook, the flyer don't look right, the conversation when you talk to them is not correct. So I try to help them because the world looking for another product. And some of the richest guys in the world has created a product. They didn't sleep on it. And so reach out to us because after Bear Fest, I've partnered with Podesta Moore, a good friend with Men That Cook. That will come on stream. And so that'll be launched shortly. And then after that, that same idea of Bahamian Craft, we are creating an event just for that. And that will be launched shortly. We just trying
If I'm
to tie it
correct,
on.
didn't Podesta do something about a grill out? Or
Yes, that's what Men That Cook is. There's a grill competition for Men That Cook. And I think she done 3 or 4. And so after COVID, she wants to launch it again. So I joined her team just to make sure that I get some more experience in another side of an event. Because there's a lot of people coming to this country who want something different. They want taste and feel and see and talk and listen to the music, what we do. And so it takes business people because you can't get funding. So with Rhythms Festival, I decided to try that catalyst. Let me see if I could get investors. And I've been getting investors calling me what I need to get involved for your festivals because we're going to do Rhythm Festival will own three signature events before summer and 3 after summer. So every year we'll have 6 events that we own. And so we have evolved into event management company.
This is big.
And so
business.
I have people who coming on board as investors. And so they'll get their 10, 12, 15% return on their investment, and they'll become part of the management team. That means you will make sure that my $1,000, and we're not looking for people with 50 to 60,000, We're looking for somebody from $100. And you get to learn how to create an event. Because an event is like a hotel. Every aspect of our economy is in a hotel, whether it's an accounts, the engineer, the maid, the food and beverage. An event is the same, sound, engineer, and all that. And so a lot of people have learned from, and Carnival was a great catalyst. A lot of these DJs went worldwide because of Carnival. My late cousin overdosed. He went huge in the world. He represented us all over the world and he really promote that as a Bahamian artist. And many artisans have been launched because Carnival is a platform, which is not our product. But we use the product as just another business venture.
This is an amazing thing that you're talking about. I mean, there's a lot of persons out there who, when you give examples of the hotel, understanding that you've already been in an environment, you want to be able to launch out, you have a certain set of skills within you now. It's time to tap into creativity and do something that can put you on a national stage, an international stage, and take you to, all your dreams and aspirations. Dario, this was inspirational. It was more than just about a conversation about Bear Fest. While we continue to drive that home, March 18th and 19th, it was a conversation about getting up and moving forward. I know that, COVID-19 has done a number on the country. And so I want to encourage others to kind of get up and do something. Support Bear Fest. Bring your talents. Bring that thing that you've been doing out to the forefront. Give Dario a call, 424-0632. Check him out on social media handles, Bearfest Bahamas, and he can be able to give you more information on how things go. This is Bearfest. It's food and beverage cultural event. So the artisans are good. So I always want to kind of drive this home. You got something that you've built. Please come out and put that thing on display. Let them know about Dario.
Yes, and they'll see some intense marketing coming up. Now that we secure our location 2 weeks ago. And so from now, if you could make an art or the bear can or bear cover or the label, a friend of mine, he makes the hat. He's been selling hats of bear boxes for years.
Really?
And so whatever you make, whether it's your creativity or you want to just use bear, use the platform. Other than that, reach out to us for Bahamian artists and those who create the hot sauce and all that. You don't need a full booth, but we'll showcase and you'll be there selling your product. They'll give you that. And before I go, I like to give Hans a shout out to Bucky Brent. He's one of our sponsors. Pirates Republic is also a big sponsor of us. Island Maritime Services is on board with us also. And a few more is on board. And so it's an event that we all have fun. You can enjoy music, Bahamian music. We'll have stage sound there. And of course, cigars, I must say, cigars.
Bahamian cigars?
Bahamian cigars. There's a Bahamian brand out there also.
To see no Cuban sitting down there wrapping up the cigar, because shoot straight with me. Huh? It's Bahamian cigars.
Bahamian cigar, man. But there's somebody growing tobacco leaf in Cat Island, eh?
Really?
Great cigar. Great cigar. I've had a few of them.
Really?
Robust cigar.
Good cigar.
Yeah.
Wow.
So there's a lot of products out there that we don't know. If you're not, I go to people event just to show my face, to show support, and also to look and see how I could learn from it, and then network. There's a lot of talent out there. Just need an opportunity. So we have a stage. So if you're a musician, reach out to me. We'll slip you in somehow just to make sure you get showcased. If it's only a one song, we'll do our best to showcase Bahamians.
Come and get accommodated, ladies and gentlemen. Be a part of it. Bear Fest, Food and Beverage Cultural Festival, is going to be on March 18th and 19th. It's going to start at 12 noon right over there at the Botanical Gardens.
No, not Botanical. The Fort Charlotte.
Fort Charlotte.
In the Moot. We'll be down in the Moot.
Fort Charlotte in the Moot. We're going to be able to do that out there. We want you to be a part of it. Like I said, check out for more information. Don't be scared. Find out more. If you want to be able to find out if you fit in, you got to get in where you fit in. The numbers that you can call today to get Dario, he says that he answers 24 hours, which is wild to me. But nonetheless, if that's what he say, 424-0632. Or check him out on social media handles, Bearfest Bahamas. That's 424-0632. Dario, my brother, the next time we talk, you can be talking to Bear. You can come and sit down with me, and we can talk some politics, and we can talk some national development.
That's no problem, man.
And we can talk some, because you've shown yourself to be well-rounded in every aspect. And if persons want to be able to see how the country could move and find the ingenious persons who have that sort of a drive, you say you can't sleep. And we know that because your hands in almost everything. So we want to hear more from you and hear how we can be able to get some things, Dario. My brother, you're a good, decent man. I appreciate it. One more time, let them know where the Bear Fest is going to be, the times and the numbers.
Bear Fest Bahamas, March 18 and 19. That's Saturday and Sunday. It's at Fort Charlotte in the Moot. You could reach out to us, Bear Fest Bahamas, on Instagram or Facebook page. My number is 424-0632. If you call and I don't answer, just give a WhatsApp and I'll return the call. That's what I've learned. That's why I kept one number. If it's serious, people tend to send a message afterwards, and then I will respond to them. And WhatsApp is an amazing platform for business.
Mm-hmm. Ladies and gentlemen, this is 96.9 FM radio. Very good. I mean, this is an informative. While this is a casual Friday, this is a formal situation. Very clearly, there is some things that are happening that you want to be a part of. We're going to take this commercial break to get to news and be right back. 96.9 FM radio. Howard Grant and your company with the foundation on this beautiful, absolutely gorgeous Friday. We're going to see you right after this.
A quick reminder to say, this coming Friday, our police gonna roll the lawn. You went to see man number one sound round town. And this a Friday evening, bim, the people them tired of working. Lord, them hear the disco playing, bim, it make them feel like dancing. Ain't no summer say, Brita will be greater with the disco operator. 5-double-18 and a 6-tweeter. This a DJ talk sweeter. See Lord, them just up with the echo chamber. Watch a man, play the play. And them will tear off the game. Them want to step in with them can't sit down and play. Oh Lord, play 45, let's keep them alive. Play this coming, they want to jump and play. Oh, when we play LP, say them really love me. They want to jump and spring, but this a dance and a free. And it's a Friday evening, bim, the people them tired of working. Lord, them hear the disco playing, bim, it make them feel like dancing. Rocha man, I me see you black at the microphone chanting, bim, chanting, bim, chanting. You black at the
This
microphone.
is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Divania's grilled food and products are now open in the Kenneth Plaza, Prince Charles Drive. come, you must try the jerk chicken, jerk pork, and all their amazing grilled food. Grilled daily to perfection using all their amazing sauces made right here in the Bahamas. Divania's, grilling good food for life. Call or WhatsApp Divania's today at 817-4468.
With so much going on in the world today, only accepting cash at your business can be risky. Let Fidelity offer you and your customers safety, convenience, and the flexibility of a fixed or mobile terminal. Take it with you, on the move and on the go, because business should never stop. For more details, speak to one of our business development officers at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport. Visit our website at fidelitygroup.com or visit us at any of our branches.
Guardian Radio and the Foundation are on the move. Bahamas, this one's for you. SBT, Small Business Thursdays. Every Thursday, the Foundation with Howard Grant will highlight small businesses throughout the country, far and wide. Your products, services, prices, and personality. We want to hear it all. Get your 30 or 60-second advertisement heard on air at a fraction of the cost. We here at the Foundation understand the times and don't want you to be left behind. With Guardian Radio, you reach your specific demographic and it is unmatched. We reach thousands daily. Get your products off the shelf and your services in their hearts. Small Business Thursdays with the Foundation, only on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. For more information, call 302-2300 or the Help Me Howard line at 827-0111. SBT. Small Business Thursdays. Get your business moving today.
Ready to step into the future? From your front door to the backyard and everywhere in between. See and speak to whoever's there with Ring Video doorbells and security cameras now available at Alive. Protect what matters most, all from one easy app, available in your Google or Apple Play Store. Visit bealive.com/ring to learn more. We are alive.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Foundation.
Excuse me for the interruption. Before you come, another quick reminder to say, this coming Friday, on a place corner over the lawn, you went to see my number one sound around town. And it's a Friday evening, bim, the people them tired of working. Lord, them hear the disco playing, bim, it make them feel like dancing. Ain't no summer set. Burrito will be greater with the disco operator. 5-double-18 and a 6-liter. This is DJ Talk Sweeter. See Lord them just up with the echo chamber. Watch a man, play the play. I them on rock the game. Them up and stepping with them cassette and them chain. Oh Lord, play 45, let's keep them alive. Play this comic, team up for jumping. Oh, I'ma play LP. Say them really love me. Team up for jump and spring.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, 96.9 FM radio on this Friday evening. Bim, warm and easy selector. So good to be in your company. The lines are open. If you want to kind of give me a call to talk about a few things, let's do it. We've been through a lot of conversations this week as it relates to where we are, where we're going, and whether or not we're on the right path. That's sort of the base of where we are in this country for this show, more specifically. I want to know where we are. I want to know where we're going. And I want to know whether or not you believe that we're on the right path. And sometimes I don't believe our conversation, the rhythm of who we are for far too long has been pointing fingers. I can't stand it. I really believe in most of the arguments that I have with my family, with my wife, or, with people that I know. Before I take on another step with it, I have to do introspection to find out whether or not I instigated that, if I perpetuated this sort of an idea, if I was the stumbling block or the wall Was I open enough to do those particular things? And I just want to know whether or not we have enough introspection in this country. Are we looking deep within ourselves to ask the question, does this make sense? Are we getting anywhere with this? And I don't believe that a lot of persons take the time out to reflect. That internal, that kind of a view. I can't. If you do that, then kudos to you. We need to be able to encourage and really educate people how to do that. But this is more about introspection for me. Because the fact of the matter is that we're going to continue to do the exact same thing if we don't stop. That's where the stop, review, and cancel should come. In our actions. Not in policies, not in these particular things, but in our actions, we need to stop, review, and cancel. That's just what it is. That's purely introspective. That's introspection. Stop, review, cancel. That's a great deal of our actions. And whilst I agree with a great deal of the activism that happens in the country, I just believe that there's some ways that we've learned foundationally, principally, that says that we can get more flies with honey than vinegar. And I believe that we all know the rhythm of how the honey works in this country. We've taken it to a point where we've used the honey to our own personal advantage for instant gratification. The honey, it ain't really authentic honey. This is that sort of generic honey that you've been using over the years. This idea that for me to get served swiftly, for me to be able to get an opportunity to be able to get to the front of the line and do these things, you take a couple of dollars in there, you give somebody lunch money. That's the idea of your honey. That's the idea of instant gratification for you, but not understanding that we have the strength to make different decisions in this country. I don't feel like we get nowhere with these relentless arguments. I just don't. I just don't. That's just me. And we could talk about it. You know the numbers, 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259, or hit us up on the text line, 422-4796. This stuff that's been happening with Lincoln Bain over the course of time, and his agitation to move in certain areas, I think it deserves that sort of conversation to say whether or not necessarily if he's right or he's wrong, but whether or not we're in the position that we could take a different step to get to a greater objective, to unify people to get to an objective, because these are serious issues that we're dealing with. That's how I feel. Fight me. Let's talk about it. These are really serious issues that we're dealing with, and we have been looking for leadership. And every time we talk about leadership, it's not because we seek to have a person that we need organization. That's just what it is. The black community, the diaspora of black people. Yesterday, we had an opportunity to be able to talk to Dr. Vumar, AJ Vumar, right? On Tuesday, we had an opportunity to be able to talk to Dr. Augustine Panchu, right? And we've continued to talk to persons locally and international. We've spoken with Dr. Umar Johnson on this particular platform. And the one thread that connects every single one of us throughout the black diaspora, those of us who for somehow ended up in the Caribbean, ended up in the United States of America, ended up in South America, wherever we've ended up over the years, the one thing that unites us as we continue to look at other cultures and ethnicities is the fact that we need organization. We're unorganized. We have pockets of talent and capability that exist here, there, and everywhere that aren't unified. We have all these elements. And I just believe that locally, we're recognizing that. Locally, we can look at the platform, the layout, the structure, and see that there are a great deal of elements. You can hear it. You know that there's talent that exists here. When you sit in the barbershop and people say things, right? And you sit in the barbershop. And this one got an idea. When you go to the hair salon, that one got an idea. When you're in church and somebody else preaches, if your pastor ain't preaching, somebody coming up with an idea. There is a desire to be able to get to a greater position. When you're on the radio, people coming up. On the social media platforms and other spaces, people have ideas that are not being identified, and you're not being utilized in the spaces that you're supposed to. You're not. And so the one thing that we're looking for and we need in this country is unity. And we look to men to be able to be that organizer. That's all it is. That's what Lincoln Bean is for me, I'm looking at it. Not Moses, right? And that's all Moses was as an organizer to get to an objective. He knew that he didn't have the strength, the articulation, the wherewithal to do this. He needed strength and he needed support. I keep telling people, even if you look at it from a biblical standpoint, even Jesus Christ had disciples. This is bananas. There needs to be a strategic team. When we pray and we look into Revelations and we look into the other spaces, even God himself got elders around the throne. You need a team. But there needs to be a harmonious balance within your team to know to get to an objective. The reason why you saw a downfall for Malcolm X, the reason why you see a downfall for Martin Luther King, the reason why Jesse Jackson hasn't gotten to where he needs to be, the reason why Reverend Al Sharpton hasn't gotten where he needs to be, because of the lack of team. There's somebody who allowing the devil to whisper in your ears to get off the course of the objective of being able to unify the black community. And it's by design. It's by design. So when we see our local organizer and he's in this kind of position, agitating for things, the question I have is whether or not the team behind him understands that there is a greater objective. The social talk for you. We're talking about these things. And so I just wanted to kind of put that out there and give you the numbers to call if you want to be able to participate in it. Because this is not me dismaying and rejecting the idea that exists. My only question is that we've seen this before. And is this for your own individual glorification? I like what he's doing. I think he's pushing the envelope. I mean, way off the edge of the table, right? I like it. I ain't gonna fight him. But the question that I have is whether or not these particular things are done like that. That's all. You understand? Because we've seen Renard Henfield very clearly, let's be clear about the thing. We didn't see him as no great leader, but we thought that his organization, based upon his structure, could be able to lead us out where we've been stagnant for and in limbo for far too long. And that turned out to be a farce. It didn't work. Many persons who come to the forefront with articulation and strength to wherewithal that we look at and say, wow, I think this person has the demeanor to be the leader or the organizer that we need in this area. And then they fold themselves into the structure of the political organizations that exist. We keep losing you to the idea of you could empower yourself. We keep losing you. And so I want to know whether or not the fight in our community is larger than the aspirations of an individual. That's all I need to know. Is the fight in our community larger than the aspiration? And the answer that I have in the interim right now is no. That's it. Why do I say no? Because the only activation that we have is closer to an election period. And then after that, you say, well, the fellas then win, and you drop it. It's bananas. That's the issue that I had with the DNA. You drop it. How did Branville leave his baby? You could leave your baby, Branville. I moved to Nassau to help you to do the thing. You drop the thing. People like Dario Torelli, Podesta Moore. There are so many talented men and women who had nothing but unbridled passion and the desire to see the country move forward. And you drop the thing. Let's take a telephone call. Calling you on the line with us live. Go ahead.
Hi, Howard. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
Hey, boy. I'll make it the other Bahamian. I don't even know where to begin, I listened to the voice notes of the Honorable Mitchell. And I'm trying to make sense out of what he said.
Because Fred Mitchell?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't listen to that.
The Friday drop. You didn't hear the voice note?
No. Y'all ain't got me in the PLP group. I get it.
I heard it on Dwight's show.
Really? Dwight must be in the group. I ain't get it. Dwight, send it to me, please.
Dwight played it twice, and I understood it correctly the second time. Boy, I tell you, like he left the show, I was hoping that every other media would pick up from where he left off from. I would know that the Honorable Brave Davis, the person that I believe in, someone who I highly respect, someone regardless of how this government run it, I still believe in him, and knowing the person that he is, that can't be endorsed by this man. And I feel like he needs to come out with a press conference or some kind of something to say that those sentiments come from the Honorable Fred Mitchell. That's his personal views and has nothing to do with the government of the Bahamas. Because if you listen to what he said, Howard, that's an indication that the problem we having with illegal immigration, this is going to be an ongoing. And I am so afraid. I am never so scared in my life something serious is going to happen in this country.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously. Because you still listening?
I read you.
Can you hear me?
I read you.
I'm saying, right? The Joe Blow in this country don't even know the extent of how far this illegal immigration goes. I'm a person who works for myself as self-employed, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I deal with contract in these major hotels.
Mm-hmm.
When we take lunch, or when I took my staff down for lunch a certain time of the night, Howard, we like 80 to 20% of those other persons, honestly to God, you know them by the way they look, the way they talk.
Mm-hmm.
I am serious. I never know the extent of them until I went there to work at that particular hotel in the evening time. We outnumbered. We have a serious crisis and we need to start to deal with it, not the ones who come in by boat. We need to look at those ones who exceeded their trip, the ones who've been here, time to leave and won't leave. The ones who bring in their family in, who ain't coming out but staying in. We have plenty legal immigrants in this country, particularly Haitian. We have plenty Chinese. The Jamaican is stepping closer to them, but the Chinese is outgrowing them. We really need to do something. We need to do something, man. And what happened on that beach there, I ain't telling nobody I am nothing. But as a Bahamian, that can't be right. Because if you bring in a message and it's peaceful, nobody throwing bottle, throwing rock, have no gun, or nothing threatening no officer, or threatening no leader of government, and you just protesting by your phone, recording or whatever, or just sending, that's why they should have had placards to state what they just walk around and let people read it rather than shouting, screaming, and maybe obscene language, whatever. But that, to me, that was a peaceful demonstration. And the way they were handled, that wasn't right either.
Mm-hmm.
It had to be another way.
Wow. I appreciate your telephone call. Thank you so very kindly for that. Dwight just sent it to me, so we're going to listen to it together. It looks like it's 3 minutes and 28 seconds. Can we get a little play? Ali, you saw it? Send it for me. Let's play it and let's see. Let's listen together. I haven't listened to it. Right? Y'all put me in some groups, man. And decent group, please. I don't want to see none of your porno. I don't want to see that. That's why I come out your groups. I don't be into that. So put me in some decent groups so I can be able to say, and I be wanted to talk about anything. But I need to know these things so when we have conversations that I'm up on the game with you, I know what we're talking. Come true, so I don't know what the hell we're talking about. 827-0111. That is my cell phone number, right? For my Help Me Howard line. And when you call it, I answer. So when you send the text and other stuff like that, I'll be a part of that. 827-0111. And decency and order, please. Decency and order. So I can see exactly what's going on in the country. Ali, hit it. Let me hear some of these things.
Good morning. This is Fred Mitchell, Chairman of the Progressive Liberal Party, Minister for the Public Service and Foreign Affairs, MP for Fox Hill, and today is Friday, the 17th of February, 2023. There is a constant battle against an evil spirit in this country. We have no other course but to appeal to rationality. The constant drumbeat of fear about the deployment and displacement in our country brings to life the admonition of that long ago U.S. President, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who told his people in a trouble that the only thing they had to fear was fear itself. During the long ago debate on our relationship with CARICOM, we, the PLP, shut down the debate because of the hatred that was being engendered by people who ought to have known better, but they succumbed to prejudice and fear. Since that time, of course, Thousands, if not tens of thousands, of Americans and Europeans have been granted permanent residence for anteing up $500,000. Now it's raised to $750,000 investment in this country. Their ability to influence the policies in this country is much more weighty than 10,000 Haitians. They have money, and 500,000 or 750,000 or even $1 million is change for them to live in the Bahamas. Their money has the ability to influence our policies and laws. We saw during the FNM's time how one letter to Prime Minister Hubert Minnis under the FNM changed the law on real property tax to their advantage out there in Life at Key. There was no Bobsy Twit. There was no arts and farts out in the streets when this policy would have directly affected the revenue of our country. These permanent residents, some with the right to work, have influence in their home governments, and those home governments are powerful enough to take away our sovereignty, choke off our ability to borrow money, stop us from traveling across the world, but no Bobsy Twits, arts and farts, or broke leg, or the FNM leader trying to stop the flow of those people. Those people continue to come. And as Nurse Naomi Christie, the mother of former Prime Minister Perry Christie, used to say, they have nature's passport, and well, they have money as well. So welcome and walk right into the Bahamas, do what you will. But there's an economic fact staring us in the face. The 400,000 of us, the local population of the Bahamas, Bahamians today, cannot service those permanent residents, those rich people, and the 7 million tourists that come to this country every year. So we have a labor shortage, and the only way it can be solved is by making more babies or immigration. Making babies and growing them up, well, that takes time, so we don't have that. So we need the labor now. So the people who support to supply the shortfall come from the South. They have dark skins, many don't speak English, but, well, enough to get along. The Filipinos do the housekeeping work. The fact is, the folks who were caught on the boats by immigration, they got here by mistake because they want to go to America. That's the reality, folks. That's the truth. The Bobsy Twits or whipping up hysteria don't focus on these truths. But anyway, let's not let the truth interfere with a good story. But yes, you who claim to be Christian should know this. The truth will set you free. God bless you. God bless the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. And on this Friday, it's PLP all the way.
What did you get from that? Are we up in arms about what Fred said? Is it because Fred said it that we are indifferent? Or do you find that he's disingenuous in this kind of position? You let me know. Give me a call, 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Is there a contrast that he's making between those of the economic wherewithal and those who just seek liberation? Is there a strong contrast, that a line sort of drawn between them? And is he saying indirectly that we have nothing to fear as it relates to the Haitians, those from the South, coming into our countries in comparison to the manipulation based upon the financial wherewithal of these other persons that can spend $500,000, $750,000, and by providing us an example of what we've seen. But have we not seen this on both sides? Talk to me. Have we not seen this? And whether it's internal or external, we've seen this before. Talk to me. We've seen the influence of what finances can do to any political organization or administration. And so, whilst his capacity as chairman could be able to identify those on the other side, we, as the gatekeepers of the democracy that we uphold in this country, should be able to identify what's happening on the other side also. Let's just shoot straight with the thing. Let's shoot straight. I don't feel indifferent about what the Honorable Minister would have taken in his capacity as chairman to say. It's his responsibility. But where do we stand? Where do we stand at this intersection of growth and development in this country? Where do we stand at this 50th year juncture? Do we go up from here? Or is it hell in a handbasket? Let's just be clear about the conversation. Why are your bridges in a knot? Why? Let's take a telephone call. Caller, you on the line with us live. Go ahead.
Mr. Grant.
Hey, good afternoon. How you doing?
Good afternoon. Everything okay? Let me just try to bring some clarification to what Fred Mitchell has said. Right?
Mm-hmm.
You say this. The problem is not the fact that, okay, he spoke about rich persons not getting all the opportunity they need to do and having more influence on the country and so forth. Okay, we understand that. Let me give an example of a reference, a serious reference, right? You had in those days when those disciples used to go out, God used to send them to high, powerful people and used to say, go. Now, a lot of people would have been scared because they say, you sending me to a king, chances are I can get my head cut off. But God says, still go anyhow, right? Go and tell them what I say. Now, God knew within himself, there's no way in the world people can listen to that small man. Not that he didn't know that. He was quite aware of that. So, his thing was this. You go and tell them first. So they would have a witness that they could identify who is like them. Because they are humans and you are human. So they'll identify you telling them. So they would have no excuse. So what he did is he sent them, saying that they didn't get no response. He said to them, basically, don't worry about that. At the end of the day, I'll go myself. And then they would have to concede. My point is this. Fred Mitchell got to understand this. He is in Parliament. He has the power almost of what God has. You know what I mean when I say it like that. Right? He has the authority like what God has because he's the God of the earth for the government. He cannot send local small people like me and you, Howard, to go and demonstrate. He knows we're going to get locked up. He is in power. So he has the rights to approach these same powerful people he claims powerful. And I'm sure they're not powerful than him because he's in government. The only thing that happen is that he's weak in his authority to approach these situations the way it's supposed to be approached. So he's trying to put a twist on it. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying, you Howard?
Mm-hmm. I see what he's saying.
Listen to me. Yeah. He's only weak. That's the reason why he cannot address the matter. Don't expect me and you to go do it. Okay? Now, if he was strong, there's no way they could be more powerful than him, who is the government of this country. Mm-hmm. Now, he's using reasonings that are not justified. Let me tell you why I say it's a reason that is not justified. Because that reason could be used in any criminal act in this country, what he just said. That could be used for persons who steal. That could be used for persons who rape. That could be used for persons who rob or bribe people out of money. All those reasons could be used for that same category he put us in. Mm-hmm. Now, he's saying, he's basically endorsing people coming in here. I use the word endorse because if you could get on the radio.
I don't know if that's what he's doing. I really don't know if he's endorsing anyone. I think and y'all have to give me 2 seconds. It only can take 2 seconds. The rhythm of how political chairman works in this country has always been it's almost like a tennis match where they're only providing you the contrast of what you're saying that they're doing, right? So they said, well, I didn't do it. You do it also. Well, you did it when you was in there. No one's defending. No one's seeking to be able to rectify. No one's moving towards anything with any kind of passion and determination to be able to rectify a real issue for Bahamian people. That's what you was hired for. That's what we put you in government for. But when you find yourself nestled in the seat of government, your only position is to draw comparison. That's what they do. That's what we've seen over the course of history. Right? Next week, we're going to have a good conversation with Obi Roberts, right? Obi's going to talk to us through the eyes of a young person's coming up and seeing exactly how his father and other persons would have done. So we've spoken with Obi Roberts. The next week, Tuesday, we're going to have a good conversation with him. But Bradley Roberts, his father, was one of the persons who was able to show us how this thing was done. The tenacity that caused so much young Bahamians to gravitate towards him and say, oh, Jesus, watch Bradley Roberts now. Bradley Roberts, boy, he's big bad Brad. That kind of vivacious exertion, that kind of position where you show, okay, I got the wherewithal. I could command the crowd by saying this and doing this. That has been sort of the forerunner and the pinnacle of what persons move towards. When I was vying for the chairman of the Free National Movement and I put the plan out to say, the first thing we got to do is be able to deal with some things internally, right? If we don't start to identify how we can connect people in the family islands to what's happening in the city here, you're still going to have a divided party. It's fractions, right? When I start to talk about how you incorporate technology, how you do all these particular things, I was rejected. They need to know whether or not I'm going to do this and do that and do the other. Mine, I ain't into them. That's yesterday's stuff. That's yesterday's stuff. That's a brand that you continue to be able to look at and model what's been done by the Progressive Liberal Party. The next dispensation of persons need to do this. Oh, they reject that. And they put Carl Culmer in there. Right? Well, that's fine with me. But now look where we are. You have a person who've come from yesterday's generation speaking to us about tomorrow. And in the mix of that, there's a gulf between that and there's a disconnect. This is how I'm looking at it. There's a disconnect. Because what Fred Mitchell has said in his capacity as chairman doesn't stand for me as a young Bahamian, whether PLP, FNM, DNA are indifferent. It doesn't stand for me. There's a different language that's being used out here. And this should not be a language of being able to identify what the others have done before us. This is about rectification. How do we rectify this? How do we fix this for us moving forward? We are at a 50th year juncture and we have issues that we've been dealing with from 1967. This is bananas. We are at a 50th year juncture, and every time it comes to how the hell am I going to afford property in this country, you go back to what Hubert Ingram would have done in 1992. What the hell does it got to do with me? How we can fix this and move forward? I cannot afford a $150,000 piece of property. The only thing I could do is get the property and possibly clear it down and put a tent on it. That's it. Why we keep having a conversation about yesterday? The issue that we're having is that we're not finding the jobs that are available for the Bahamian people to move forward. And you keep telling me about some policy, how we can fix it. I do not care about anything. That's what my generation says. That's what my generation says. I'm not concerned about what was done. My only concern is that we identify what was done and rectify it for moving forward. The comparison makes no difference to me. And if the only thing that persons are getting into politics for is to give you comparisons, sir, just leave it alone. We need people to rectify this issue to move the country forward. That's what we're looking for. There's a text here. It says, "Good day, Mr. Grant. Mr. Mitchell is clouding the issue at hand and trying to justify the inaction of the PLP government with regard to the illegal immigration problem that persists. This is not acceptable. Fix the problem. Don't compare them." Let's take a telephone call. Caller on the line with us live. Go ahead. Caller on the line with us live. Go ahead, caller.
Hi. Can you hear me?
I'm good. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. The problem of illegal immigration hasn't been addressed properly by our government. That is why we continue to have this problem, and people are agitated about it because it's causing many, many, many problems in our country. And we have a big CARICOM meeting going on, and I listen to it, and it's almost like Haiti is the big topic, right? When we have issues in our own country, right? We cannot properly control our borders. I'm sorry, in regards to these persons coming to our shores, right? We have issues with persons squatting on our lands, right? And, as people have always said and continue to say, we have to abide by certain treaties and our social services. We have to accommodate because we want to be humane, and we have been humane. For over 50 years, we've been humane. Mm-hmm. We have a growing debt in this country. We've been, affected by twindemics, I call it, Dorian, and then right on the cusp of that was COVID. We have issues in this country, and always saying as Bahamians, acknowledge the problem. Stop trying to defend it, right? Defend the problem and be like, they have issues. Yes, Haiti is 12 million people. They have people that need to change their mindset as far as working together and trying to get their country. You could help them all you like, and they have received aid. They continue to get aid. But the problem is the mindset. They have not among themselves, it appears, say, look, this has been going on long enough, 218, 19 years they've been independent, right? Let's get together seriously and try to fix our country. The Bahamas cannot continue to sustain that country, Howard.
I agree with you. Thanks so much for your telephone call. I do appreciate it. Now, guys, let's take a quick commercial break and be right back. Guys, this is 96.9. We're just talking real talk. We're just talking about where we are and how we can get to where we envision. Is it going to be with this kind of relentless verbal jargon? Are we going to continue to deflect? Are we going to be able to identify what was done in the past to be able to get us here? Every single administration from the inception, including the very first administration, had led to this point. That's it. And so the next dispensation, the next generation leadership should not just have to be able to rectify. We ain't here to perpetuate you and your position and your aspirations. We're not here so your mother can say, oh my God, look at my baby, Jesus. I never thought I would have seen him in the house. We're not here for that. We don't care about you and your family unless and until you are coming up here to be able to work on the real issues that our forefathers have left. Please leave this alone. Put your heart at the forefront and know that there is a purpose that Jesus Christ has called you to fulfill in this country. Unless and until put the thing down. And that is where we need to be able to start voting. This is garbage what these people doing. Let's talk about it, guys. Let's take this quick commercial break and be right back after this.
Foundation. Foundation.
The Foundation. We'll be back right after this.
The foundation. The foundation. The foundation. The foundation.
At Ron's Electric Motors, they repair and rewind all major brands of electric motors, including water pumps, generators and the generator's back end, welding machines, electric lifts, air compressors, battery chargers, and more. They're equipped to handle up to 850 kilowatts and rewind up to 450 horsepower motors. They're conveniently located on the corner of Wolf and Clarence Roads and are open weekdays 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturdays till noon. They offer 24 hours emergency assistance. You can reach them at 242-356-0249.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Ready to step into the future? From your front door to the backyard and everywhere in between. See and speak to whoever's there with Ring Video doorbells and security cameras now available at Alive. Protect what matters most, all from one easy app, available in your Google or Apple Play Store. Visit bealive.com/ring to learn more. We are Alive.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Foundation. Foundation. The foundation. The foundation.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, on this sort of a casual Friday. We try to make it as casual as possible. But can we really be casual about some of the issues that we endure over the years? This is the Foundation with Howard Grant right here on 96.9. And we're just talking about these things. I just want to be very clear. I represent a different generation. I am 42 years old, okay? Well, this year, God spare my life, I'll be 42 years old, right? Those in our age bracket who was born in the 80s and find ourselves in this position, we have children, many of us, and we're transitioning into a position of leadership in this country, whether we like it or not, right? So whether that you're leading from a dark perspective or you're moving towards light, it doesn't matter. Whatever your position is in terms of leadership, we're moving to that, right? You're becoming the best mechanics. You're moving up in the government agencies. From a private sector, you're being identified. You're being promoted. You're moving up. All of us are finding ourselves transitioning into a space, whether that we're being thrust in that, whether we're consciously moving into that, or whether we've been just, oh my God, I didn't even know. However it happens, that's where we are. And because of that, we are now the bridge between two generations. We understand a little bit more, the 60-year-olds, because they were our parents. We understand a little bit more about the 70-year-olds and 80-year-olds because they were our grandparents. So we represent that kind of a bridge that can articulate to a younger generation why this particular thing has happened. And the younger generation speaks back to us and says they do not care what the hell happened 40 years ago. They just don't. They don't care about the crack epidemic. They don't care about any of these things as much as we try to drive home this idea that we need to know our history. Their only concern is that, how do I find an opportunity to survive in this country? How can I make something better of myself in this country? That's where they are. And we, my generation, have come to a conclusion, very clear understanding, that we can no longer excuse what has happened or excuse why we are where we are without rectifying this issue. So our participation is to rectify issues. That's why we're here. We're not here to lend no gum bus into what has happened yesteryear. If you are going to be effective, efficient, and move this country forward over the next 50 years to our 100th year anniversary, it has to be with solutions, strategy, determination, passion. Now, I can be honest with you, because of my age and listening to Fred Mitchell and his particular capacity and knowing what he would have done over the years, I don't necessarily see what he said was wrong. I don't. I can't say that I disagree with him. Yes. I remember exactly what he's talking about. When the letter was sent down to our prime minister and there was burying the dog. I remember these things. You think we can forget? These things are public record. We remember these things. But that doesn't negate the fact that we're dealing with real issues today. It doesn't give you this sort of wherewithal to be able to inject this idea for deflection. This is no time to deflect. These are real issues that are on the heart, heavy for the Bahamian people. Now, I disagree with this idea that that's going to cause some level of turmoil in the country. I don't see this leading to no turmoil in terms of a civil unrest. But I believe that there is significant agitation. If the government is speaking to these particular matters, that there should be rectification. Let's take this telephone call. Calling on the line with us live. Go ahead.
Howard.
Hey, what's up, my brother?
Hey, what's up? Everything good?
Yeah, man. What's happening?
Good. I can call you off air when you're through. One of your boys was locked up at Lincoln Bean, okay? But I'll let you know that off air.
827-0111.
I got you.
Okay, my brother.
Like the lady said earlier, Haiti cannot be helped, basically because they committed an offense against the first commandment. Thou shalt have no other God but me. Here's the problem, or the spiritual side of it. In October of last year, it was reported on the news that Haiti allowed 34 chief of priests from Africa to come in, along with over 30 voodoo workers in Africa, along with 400,000 of its citizens, to rededicate its country to Satan.
Right? Now, I didn't read this. Where was this? Where can I go and read this?
It was on ZNS News. I got the tape. I got the clip. I could send it to you.
You got my number. Let me watch that.
Okay?
I can't remember this.
So, being spiritual, I know what they're trying to do can't wait, because they violated the first commandment. Thou shalt have no other God but me. I actually called to speak in reference to what happened with the Bahamian delegation, but since you let the public heard Fred Mitchell clip, let me address that. May I?
Go ahead.
Okay. What I heard just now was an avenue to wiggle out from the corruption that has been going on for years and will continue to be perpetrated if we fall for what he said. Case in point, as of June 19th, 2012, when the Constitution of Haiti was amended, their citizens were not allowed to renounce their citizenship.
Mm-hmm.
It's gazetted.
Mm-hmm.
Article 13 in the Haitian Constitution was abrogated.
Mm-hmm.
Since it was abrogated, it is in conflict with our Constitution, Article 7.1, that says that you must first be able to renounce
Mm-hmm.
in order for you to become a citizen of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. My question to you in the Bahamas, for the past 13 years, why were they swearing in people from Hispaniola West? And it had nothing to do with the Bahamas government, you know, because we offer the entitlement to them in Article 7, but it was taken away from their government. But our government is still swearing in the people from Hispaniola West. Constitutionally, they are not citizens.
Mm-hmm.
The Constitution is the supreme law, right, Howard?
Right.
Okay. Chapter 1, Article 2 in the Constitution. If any law that is created is inconsistent with this Constitution, it shall be null and void, and the Constitution shall prevail.
Mm-hmm.
Tell Fred Mitchell, let's start there. Okay? To solving this problem. Second thing, the permanent residents. That's exactly what they are, permanent residents without the ability to vote. They are not a threat. They might have influence on political parties, but they are not a threat to the national security of this country.
They only influence based upon the susceptibility or the openness of our politicians.
Exactly.
Talk to me.
Well, let me put the word there, the corruption.
Okay.
Okay? Same thing. When we give people that the Constitution does not allow to have citizenship, this is where your problem comes, because according to a report from the UN, if any country or any people who are naturalized in your country is more than 15%, it is a national security threat.
Mm.
So if we even go there, Article 7.1 in our Constitution say that they can be denied because of national security.
Wow.
So let's just deal with the issue. The permanent residents on one hand cannot vote. If you continue to give these people citizenship, they can then form a political party, form a bloc, and then vote you out. Fred Smith said that they intend to form political parties and they will become parliamentary leaders. Let me break that down for the Bahamians. We can take over the parliament, we can be prime minister, we can lead the Senate, and we can be the Speaker of the House. I'm a Bahamian, so I broke it down for my people.
Mm-hmm.
So tell them stop jiving. So his reasoning to us now as Bahamians, who cannot afford our 1 or 2 child, is to go have more babies.
Mm.
Okay? That was his answer to the unemployment or the employment crisis which we face. Have more babies. Let me give him an example to follow. You can follow Qatar, Mr. Mitchell. In the 2017 census in Qatar, they had 2.7 million people. Out of the 2.7 million people, 313,000 were citizens. The other 2.4 million were expats. We don't need to increase our citizenry. All we have to do is organize the immigration department, give the people 3 to 5 year permits, and rotate. You got to leave after. And if you decide to have a child, your permit will be revoked. You will solve your citizenry problem. You will solve your immigration problem in a civilized way. How are you talking, Howard?
You're talking decent. I appreciate your telephone call. Let me get a couple more people in here before we get out.
Thank you, bro.
You're a good, decent man, my brother. I appreciate you. And, you know, our conversation has to be a dual conversation, because I could tell you, whilst we could be able to decipher, chop down what we've heard Fred Mitchell say, there was significant truth in what he was saying, but it was deflection, and not, in my view, it was deflection. It was designed strategically through the eyes and through the seat of his chairman position that seeks to be able to kind of lobby the ball, to throw the ball at the other side, to deflect. We need rectification. We need to find out, how the hell are we going to get out of this position? How? The next generation of Bahamians are steadily looking at Canada. They're looking at the United States of America. They're looking to get out. The same expats, illegal immigrants that you despise in your own land, you're prepared to do that, to look for the liberty, the opportunity that exists elsewhere, those opportunities exist here, but it's being snuffed out and smothered by immigration issues. By the fact that we're not identified and given that opportunity as citizens of the country. We put you in there to be able to fight for us. This is not time to deflect. And this is not time for political correctness to genuflect to what exists out in the ethos, right? To all the G7 nations and all those things. Yes, the Bahamas is playing along. Yeah, we continue to be able to genuflect to those where we're dealing with real issues on the ground. Let's have a real conversation about it. Let me read one or two of these texts. He says, Howard, I hope that all the people in Fox Hill and East who voted are still like to vote for Fred heard what he had to say on immigration and illegal immigration. He said Fred Mitchell is delusional and has sold out. This is why only full-blown Bahamians should be in the government in high position. I'm not going to read the rest of this. Your preamble was too strong. Let's just do this, right? It says, good day, Mr. Grant. We have a weak leadership. That's all it is. If they can come and say in a roundabout way, basically that we need to accept the illegal immigrant crisis because they don't have the wherewithal, because it doesn't say that here, the wherewithal to deal with it or bring some resolution, it shows weakness to the core. Huevos, less weak leadership. The Bahamas is doomed, to say the least. I can't say this. I can't say that the Bahamas is doomed. The Bahamas is doomed, to say the least. And that's how a few of us Bahamians feel. Thank you, sir. I don't know if the Bahamas is doomed. I can't say it. I still here. I live here. For the millions and millions of sperm cells that was trying to be able to get to my mummy's ovary, Howard Grant made it. For the tribulation that I put my mother through for 52 hours to get on a bed to be able to go through what she gone through, Howard Grant is here. Jesus, talk to me. You here. You know what your brothers and sisters didn't make it? Talk to me. You here. And for me to be able to sit down and yield to a position that was presented by man to say, I give up, then why am I here? This is home and I ain't got nowhere to go. And for all of those who have opportunities to go elsewhere, do your thing. But I will continue to fight for the rights of who we are as a people. And if it's conversations like this that cause you to do introspection, to be able to agitate you, to cause you to move towards activism, not rioting, I want you to riot and burn nothing down. That's not what we're here for. We have to use our minds and lock arms in unity to get out of this situation. Call, I can give you 30 seconds. Go ahead.
Howard, good afternoon.
What's up, Jeff?
I intentionally meant to leave my call for one of the last before your program closes. I want you to pay attention to what the last caller actually stated. First and foremost, the Parliament of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas has a mandate to protect the interests of the Bahamian people. And those interests are protected by our Constitution, which I feel that these parliamentarians do not want to do the heavy lifting. They do not really want to do the hard work. The hard work is to make the hard decisions to protect the Bahamian people and the Bahamas at all costs. And right now, as it stands, the general feeling on the ground is our country has been slowly and still is steadily being sold out to the outsiders instead of protecting the interests of the Bahamian people.
Thank you, Jeff.
This xenophobic and all this other information is nothing but a farce, is nothing but a distraction. But the obligation of our parliamentarians is to protect the Bahamas and the Bahamian people first.
Jeff, I got to let you go.
But thanks for taking my call, Howard.
Thank you so much. I do appreciate it. We had a conversation with Dr. Pancho, right? And in that conversation, we talked about Maslow's hierarchy of theory moving up to self-actualization. And it's almost impossible for a black man to get from step one, which is just being able to clothe yourself and feed yourself, to step two, because the system is designed for that. When parliamentarians find themselves in a position of leadership, they too have aspirations to move up to self-actualization. And so they take advantage of it, not all of them. Many of them take advantage of that and step up to the third ladder, step up to the fourth ladder on the backs of the people that gave them the opportunity. Let's have a very clear conversation about that. Guys, I thank you so very kindly for listening into the show today. I want you guys to have a very good weekend. I want to thank you for participating. I also want you to be able to go down to my good friends Devanya's. Devanya's has great opportunities. Devanya, we out there. My good friend Greg, he's out there and doing some wonderful stuff. Thank you for your participation. Thank you for your support. Go out there, go down to Fish Fry, do something with your sweet thing in the can. It's a beautiful day, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy your weekend. And we'll see you on Monday, God spare. Monday, we're going to have a conversation with one of the architects, George Smith. Talk to me. We're going to have a good conversation, guys. We're going to see you on Monday. Stick and stay for Shivago Lang right here on 96.9 FM. Have a beautiful weekend, guys. And let's fight to get up and out of this position that we're in this country, guys. You can do it together. Let's make this thing happen. Have a beautiful weekend, guys.
Evening, boom, the people them tired of working. Lord, them hear the disco playing. Boom, it make them feel like dancing. Ain't no summer say, Britain will be great and with